At the southern coast of Vancouver Island, Mary Hill stands as a beacon of reconciliation and unity.
First time I attended Mary Hill with the youth, listening to their laughter and their screams of joy and just watching them run and jump was definitely uplifting for me. There was definitely some tears shed. There was a lot of laughter and a lot of happiness. The tears were not from sadness. The tears were from joy, from being able to experience this.
The very first time I stepped foot on it, got out, looked around, saw the ground that we were standing on, looked at the land that we had. It's beautiful. It's beautiful there. My heart is absolutely full to be able to know that that's going to come back to us, and my kids are going to be able to walk on there. My grandkids are going to be able to walk on that land.
The views, the amount of fresh air was so amazing. You couldn't get the amount of pureness from anything else, really.
If you go to Mary Hill and stand on top of the hill and look down upon the water, I think you just understand that your mental health gets protected and looked after. The view over there is elaborate and just breathtaking, and my mental health feels good every time I leave that place. I'm like, wow, I just came from a beautiful place, and I'm glad my community is standing up to share that.
My impression when I first went to Mary Hill, I was absolutely in awe. I have never felt so peaceful. I felt the power of the land, knowing that they got to be there and be free.
The first time I ever spent on Mary Hill, I was there with my uncle. We were one of the first two to get invited and taken by the gate. And we were with the guy that protects all the endangered species that are on the land, and he was showing us all this endangered species. And as he was talking, I was getting frustrated, and he didn't notice. And it's his job to protect those endangered species, and I respect that. I wasn't mad at him. I was just upset that he had forgotten that me and my uncle were the first two people from Beecher Bay to ever set foot on that land for 100 years, and the real only endangered species that were there were us.
Yeah, if you look at the historical record, it's really quite fascinating. When the Spanish first arrived in 1790, they actually pulled into Pedder Harbor, and they used Mary Hill as a place for them to climb up to the top of the hill to survey what they saw around them. The reason they did that was because it was open, there was a lot of meadow there, which was a result of almost thousands of years of First Nations managing the land through fire. And why Mary Hill is significant also is because we know from archives the Spanish landed there and put up a cross as part of the doctrine of discovery practice, which has been done for hundreds of years by various nations to justify why they should unilaterally take over the land. They felt it was theirs because no one else lived on it. So to see the Mary Hill be returned to the Chanyu is almost this perfect circle of reconciliation. It's reversing hundreds of years of this doctrine that has justified all sorts of nations to take over particular territories. And I think that is really an important story.
It's hard to believe that they were able just to come ashore and say, this is my land, and not even consultate with anybody or anything. But I guess that's been happening with us our whole life.
There are so many people that are out there that need to come home. They need to come home for healing. They need to come home to be around family. Now, I grew up here in Beecher Bay. There was always somebody watching out for us. We knew everybody's name in every house. And if there was something wrong, all you had to do was run to Granny's house or run to the auntie's house, run to all the houses right around us, because we were all looking out for each other. That's the way that it is here in Beecher Bay. We can all be mad at each other. Our families can be mad at each other. But if you need us, if somebody needs us, one of our family members needs us, then we're going to be there, regardless of whether we're mad at you. It's just the way that it is, and that's what we do, and that's our culture.
I want to say, I want you to visit our Chianu Tribal Park, and I want you to know that even Beecher Bay and Chianu, our nation here today, is an open door policy, and you just want to come meet us, please let's start the conversation today.
Getting to say the words tribal park in this instance brings me lots of joy and feelings of hard work. This has been a lot of hard work, and it makes me feel like the community is coming together. Tribal park and community mean the same thing to me right now because of the things we're doing at Mary Hill. And one day I'm hoping that we just call it the Tribal Park or Chiana Tribal Park, whatever it needs to do it. That'll evolve on its own through the community.
Right now we have, I would say, less than 1/3 of our population able to live here at home. The addition of Mary Hill will bring a variety of opportunities for employment, which will lead to opportunities for housing and more stability for our people.
We're getting the land in treaty with the intent to be able to do something with it, to create some sort of economic development to help our people, to bring our people home. Because the only thing that we've always been working towards is bringing our people home. And if we don't have the economic funds, if we don't have the economic development and any funding that we need to bring people home, then, or land, then it's not going to work. Creating this friendship with the people that we're working with, this enables us to keep what we want, keep it, preserve it, keep it beautiful, and then still be able to make some money, economic development to be able to bring our people home.
I believe the tribal park will give us amazing economic opportunities to empower our people, being able to do a natural, holistic area, to have health and wellness, to take care of our people and show other people how we do that.
The reason we're fundraising is to help the Chianu make an option around an IPCA. They can either choose that or they could choose a real estate development. But for an IPCA option, we want to make sure they're made financially whole. So that's where the funding is so important. Because an IPCA is not just about preserving the land for the benefit of plants and animals. It's really about making sure that it's economically viable for them, which means they can then use those funds to help support their own housing needs, their own social needs, and also their economic requirements.
I think people sometimes just think that we're trying to move our community forward and our community alone, but our community can't move forward alone. It needs good partnerships. It needs good community, and part of your community being healthy is the communities around you being healthy, and we want to participate in healthy communities in general, not just ours.
The Mary Hill Project offers a real unique opportunity for people to learn from the land, to learn from nature. It's really about getting funders and donors and project supporters not to just see this project from afar, but to participate in it, to go onto the land as guests of the Chianu, learn about the very many different things that the land has, but also the cultural perspectives the Chianu bring to this beautiful part of the world.
I think if you are wanting to take care of the environment, you want to help with climate action, I believe today's the day to help Chianu Tribal Park to assist us in raising funds to take care of this lovely area that has been untouched for years.
In my mind, I never anticipated that it was ever going to be called Mary Hill at the end of the day. I don't even know who Mary is or why it's called Mary Hill. I have no idea, and no disrespect to whoever that person is. But it's their time has been had to be stood up, and now it's our turn to be lifted up ourselves.
I felt immediately when I said the words tribal park that our ancestors were already with us, going, yeah, that's it, you got it. And they're walking with us. They're walking with us. I could feel it immediately in my heart. I knew. When we connect with the land, then, and you step foot on it, and every time you take a step, it's your heartbeat. Well, it's ours. And we haven't been able to be part of it for a very, very long time. So many of our family members have not even been able to see it yet. And I will still do my best to try to make sure that they have the ability to do so. But it is our heartbeat. And we don't want to lose our heartbeat. It's part of us, and we're connected to it. And we will always be connected to it.